was born in Poland, bordering Ukraine. Today it's Ukraine. I remember one incident where they called me, my friend, who's supposed to be my friend, he called me Żyd. Żyd means Jew in Polish. So when I came home, I asked my parents, what does Żyd mean? So my parents explained to me, that's what they call you because you're Jewish. The time that we were in the ghetto, and people were dying, and we knew we were going to die. We had no place to go. Anton came to us and said, look, I want to save you. I'm going to save you.
Anton was this man in the village who was very not common. He wasn't the same as everyone else. He meditated, and he made shelters for all the bugs, and he was not very well liked in the village. Everybody thought he was weird, and they were scared of him. But my great-grandmother was always very nice to him. She sent the kids over to get food from him and to give him stuff that he needed. And for that, Anton was very thankful, and he liked my family a lot. So he went to them and he said that he wanted to save them from the Germans.
My father was kind of skeptical. He said, how is he going to help us when he's so poor and he doesn't have enough for himself? How is he going to be able to save 6 people? We have 4 of us, my parents and my brother and I, and 2 orphan girls that came with us. So my father said, how is he going to be able to do that? He said, no, we're not going to go to, we're going to have to try something else. So we escaped from the ghetto, and my father had some people that he knew in town, and we went to these people, knocking on the door in the middle of the night, please help us. Some people didn't even open the door. They didn't want to bother with us. But my mother had a dream when we were still in the ghetto. She had a dream where her mother, my grandmother, came to her and told her, go to Anton, he will save you and your family. So we had no more options. We knocked on the whole, we were exhausted, no place to go. So my mother and my parents say, well, look, let's go to Anton. We knocked on his door, and he, with open arms, he welcomed us. He said, don't worry, I'm glad you're here, I'm going to save you. That's when we all realized that he is for real, he's not just talking.
They went under his root cellar and they dug a hole for the family, and he protected them there for over a year.
I can't imagine. I have 3 children. One of them is a little girl, and I can't imagine what it would be like to keep your children in the dark with no food, no air, no water, and then to keep them quiet on top of it. To me, it's amazing, and it makes me really respect my grandparents for all the strength and endurance of how they did it.
And he was able to fool all the neighbors, because everybody was suspecting that he is hiding us, and he was able to fool them.
So, one night, a few nights before the war ended, there were Germans sleeping above the hole, and my grandfather and his family were very nervous, and then all of a sudden they heard a lot of gunshots, and everything went silent, and my grandfather stepped out of the hole, and it was the Russians were there, and they killed everybody. And yeah, that's my grandfather's story.
We escaped Russia, Ukraine. We wound up in Germany at a DP camp, and from there thanks to my aunt Celia, she brought us over here to the United States. We took him to Israel. We took him to Bethlehem. He did what he wanted to do. And of course we brought him to Yad Vashem, where he was honored, and his name was inscribed right next to Schindler. before he passed away, he asked me, we had a talk, and he said to me, please, I'm sick now, and I know how much longer I'm going to be living, but please don't forget us. Don't forget me. And I told him, we'll never forget you. I had tears in my eyes. I gave him a big hug. I said, we'll never forget you. And as a matter of fact, I'm still saying Kaddish after him. Every year I say Kaddish after him. And about 2.5 years ago, my wife Rochelle and I, we were blessed with a grandson. And we took the liberty, of course, my son Chet and his wife Takami, they agreed to call my grandson Anton. So Anton will never be forgotten. We will always remember him.
Well, my 2 older children know the story from my father. And I have a little girl who's 6. She does not know the story yet. I'm sure she will. It makes it a lot easier for me that my children are in Jewish school, and it's part of their curriculum. As a matter of fact, I'm sure you know the 8th graders just came from Poland. They took a trip to Poland where they met Mr. Sigmund Rolat.
When we learn about it in school, it happened, but it's really far away. But when we're in Poland and we're learning about what happened in Poland, it's like, we're standing here, and this happened right here. You can show us pictures of the place and of the monuments and of the city from America, but you don't honestly experience it unless you're there, and it's a completely different experience.
There were so many people that were affected by this, and so many people that could have had so much similar qualities to me and could have been living such a similar life.
I feel like I have a huge responsibility. I feel that children of Holocaust survivors bear the witness. It's our responsibility. It's very important for me that my children know the story of my father and of many other Holocaust survivors, because they need to tell their children, and then their children need to tell their children, God willing, pass it on. In 100 years from now, we need it still to be kept going.
It's important to educate the young and the old, the Jews and the non-Jews, to make sure that the memory of the Shoah, of the Holocaust, will shape the future of our country and the world. Young people have a very strong voice in the world and society. And what young people do and what they say, people will listen. So it's up to you to continue to tell the story. This way, it will move on from generation to generation.